What's up, everyone? Welcome down to the vault. And today, Walt, we're going to talk about what I think, to me, were the 10 defining horror movies in the world. Now, before we get to that, though, I want you guys to watch this on your big screen on TV. It's great to just sit back on your couch and chill and turn it up. And
on the big screen, what's better?
There's nothing better on the big screen. I mean, I'll watch it on my phone if I'm aware, but, or I'm away, I watch it. But watch it on the big screen. If you want to send someone a message from me, go to cameo.com. And, of course, when you are on the set of Zetro's Toxic Vault, we drink Death Wish coffee, because Death Wish coffee will do what to you, Walter?
It gets you wired, but it's the strongest coffee they got. That's how they advertise it.
And then again, we want to thank everybody for getting the Zetro's Toxic Vault t-shirts in patches, and everybody who's gone into greyhavenmedia.net and checked them out. It's absolutely killer that you guys are going to see what we're doing there. So
the spider's dancing.
Oh, yeah. And why is he so pissed today? You know why? Because we gave him his name.
Yes,
we gave him Red Rum. Red Rum is just like, he's dancing.
He's dancing
all
today.
Over. God, he's getting bigger. Ugh.
You're feeding him.
No, he's feeding himself. I don't feed him shit. He feeds whatever fucking wanders down here. That's why I don't know why critters come wandering down into the crypt, here into the vault. They just get fucking eaten.
That's why he's here.
That's why we're going to get eaten today. Anyway, we're going to talk about 10 horror movies that I think, this is my opinion. A lot of the stuff, we talk about, of course, you guys are going to chime in and tell me what you think, of course, and I want you to.
This is going to be a killer episode.
This episode is, to me, I went through this meticulously, and you guys all know I'm a horror guy. I know my shit. I watch all types of horror movies. A-list, B, C, D, it doesn't matter. I dig it all. I like the campy stuff. I like even the stuff where you can see
we're going to count it down.
The zipper on the back of the fucking suit. I don't care. If it's cool and campy, I'll do it. So we're going to campy it down. We're going to campy it down. We're campy it. We're going to campy. We're going to count it down. And we're going to start. We're going to go from 10 to 1. And again, there's a million horror movies out there, and anything is, could be this or that. To me, this is what I thought.
Your nucleus.
My nucleus, what created me, what I thought was scary. And number 10 is basically Carrie.
Right. Made in 1976. And the director, very famous, Brian De Palma, starring Sissy Spacek and Piper Laurie and Amy Irving.
John Travolta.
And written by Stephen King and based off the novel. And I think this is the best novel that a film has been based off of Stephen King, in my opinion.
Up to now, although the new It was great, not the one with Tim Curry. I thought it was okay. I haven't seen the second part yet, but I loved the first part, and I agree with you. Carrie, to me, was truly scary. I was
for the time that we had to think about,
even
right?
The time,
1976.
That's a lot about the movies that I picked. I would have to say that when she gets the blood on her and she starts, wigging out, the look in her eye, the way she walks through the prom is just so creepy and scary, and what she does to everybody after that. So the whole premise of the mental telepathy and being able to move things with her mind was kind of cool. But man, when they fucked with her too hard, she went full on it, and I was truly scared when I was watching this movie. Truly scared.
I liked it. This is, like I said, probably the best Stephen King based novel into a film, and I dug it. 1976. I was in high school.
I know they tried to redo it, and they actually did a decent job. I think it was Chloe Grace Moretz played Carrie, and Julianne Moore played her mother. It was a couple of years back. I did go see it. It was okay, but nothing beats Piper Laurie and Sissy Spacek in the original.
And I will say that Brian De Palma has also done Scarface, Carlito's Way, Dressed to Kill, Black Dahlia.
Yeah, so many great.
And this was early in his career.
Definitely.
Okay, great. How about number 9?
Number 9, I would say, was Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, 1980, directed by Sean S. Cunningham, who also collaborated with Wes Craven later on, and they made Last House on the Left. It's starring Betsy Palmer, Adrian King.
Basically nobody's in this
movie. And
again,
you don't have to have all these stars in these movies, do you, Steve? On these horror, if it's done right.
This one to me was the first time, to me, a horror movie where the kills were actually very graphic. Where when Jason stuck the knife or the axe in her face, you back up and you actually see the axe. And I thought that the Friday the 13th movies were the first ones that started making the horror and actually believably graphic.
And we got Jason with the mask that we
Obviously
even
the
have right
greatest
here,
of-
right?
yeah, one of the greatest, of course.
I mean, he doesn't
And
say
right
anything,
there, and right there,
but he's
and
scary. That's the whole thing,
well,
right?
that's the whole premise, and then the whole story.
He's
tied
the
in with
predator.
his mother, and the whole camp counselors thing like that. It set a bar for the genre that followed after the Cabin in the Woods, Evil Dead.
It
There was so
influenced a
many
lot.
things that went on at the campgrounds after that. But an original, definitely an original one for sure. The story original. Good kills. That's why I say great.
And
kills.
again, we're talking about 1980 before all this
Yep.
CGI and everything, right?
Yep.
Good. Let's,
Tell them what number 9 is, Walt.
well, number 8,
Number 8. We're done.
Phantasm.
I always do that. Phantasm.
another
Wow.
one,
Another
1979.
Angus Scrimm plays the tall man, and it's just that one of those things where I was scared when the whole idea of being in a cemetery and going into the crypt and there being little monsters behind the crypt, and it was just, to me, very creepy. The car, the tall man, the little
Dark
smear.
movie.
It was just very 1979, around, just really, really, to me, very, very, very scary movie. I could watch it to this day. Most of these movies that I'm talking about today, it's like if I'm flipping through the channels and I see it on, I immediately stop and start. I can watch Phantasm 100 times.
For the time, I think it was a very scary movie. Again, we're talking back when we were in high school, or at least I was in 79. So, yeah, definitely I can see her being number 8 there. Let's go on to number 7.
Night of the Living Dead.
Okay, 1968. Director is George A. Romero.
I mean, a first time ever. The budget was so small on this. I think the whole budget was like $375 grand.
And he wrote it.
Or something, yeah, and wrote and set the bar for any other. I mean, this started a whole different subgenre of horror movie.
And he also did later
zombie.
Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead,
But my point
Land
is,
of the
is
Dead,
now
all those.
There's a million different zombie movies.
Oh, I know,
that
huh?
could come. We just seen a shitty comedy one a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, if it wasn't for George Romero, you wouldn't have that. I
love how his name rings true in this.
It is. I like everything in this movie. I liked the scenes where the zombies are eating the flesh. Very, very graphic. The first shocking scene is when she goes up the stairs and sees the eaten, dead corpse up there on the top of the stairs. Many, many scare moments in Night of the Living Dead. I remember watching it the first time on Creature Features.
And it's some black and white, which adds something
which
to
is-
it, right?
yeah, exactly.
The time period.
And to me, black and white seems more scary because you can't really bring out the level of it. It's just black and white. I mean, it could be syrup, it could be blood, but it just looks black and
And
white.
a classic ending, but I won't say it, but a classic.
Definitely classic.
All right, and now we go to number 6. This
Number
is a
6.
surprise for me.
Why is it a surprise? It's Jaws, and I guess I was 11 when it came out.
1975.
And I didn't know that there was something in the water that could eat you. I guess as an 11-year-old, I didn't know what a shark was, and I don't know why, but I just didn't,
There's only 2 movies that I've heard of people actually leaving the theater because they were scared. And this is one of them. We'll mention the other one later.
Well,
But,
this
yeah.
one, to me, the whole idea, it didn't have anything to do with the actual kills themselves. It was the presence of the movie. As soon as you hear that damn music and you see the kids swimming and you see their legs dangling,
The suspense of it.
it's very suspenseful. And then the final, when they get out on the boat and drag the thing out there, and it's just a one-on-one with the crew, and he single-handedly tries to tear that boat apart. I mean, to me, anything about Jaws is another one. I could watch Jaws over and over and over again every time it's on.
And the director, Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg.
This is a very early film for him in his career that blew up later, and it starred Rose Schrader, and Richard Dreyfuss.
And Robert Shaw.
Wow.
I know these things, Walt.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you watch the movie over and over again, you read the credits.
And it still lives on because you go to Universal and they have a Jaws.
Yeah.
And number 5.
Nosferatu, both versions, 1922 and 1979.
79 one's Nosferatu the Vampire.
I believe they changed it, but it's the same story. It's the same character. It's with Klaus Kinski and Isabella Rossellini. Absolutely. The color in the movie and the makeup that they made him look like are very evil, although...
And the original black and white.
The original black and white is
holds
still...
up today.
I mean, 1922, and it still has some validity, so...
And the writer taken from the Bram Stoker's Dracula novel.
Right. It actually came out 8 years or 9 years before the actual Dracula. So,
and it's a creepy vampire, right? Not your traditional one that they
suave,
try to,
good-looking,
Hollywood has put it in.
romantic-looking guy,
Right.
Bela Lugosi. He's got, Max Schreck with the long fingernails and the creepy eyes and chin.
That's right.
Yep, definitely.
And they both hold up great. And now we got number 4, which is the classic, one of my favorites.
One of my favorites, The Omen.
The Omen. And it's 1976. And it's got Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, and, of course, Damien is Harvey Stevens.
Amazing. The kid played such a deadpan little evil. But
even in I thought the second one with him, and it was really great, too. But, I mean,
the whole premise of this first one is just
Damien.
amazing. It's just like, it's the Antichrist. It's the devil's son being born finally because, in the book of Revelations, it talks about the son of, the devil.
666.
Him being born and coming in through great power.
And the whore of Babylon.
Being from a loving family, and everybody will love him. And that was the whole story. But all the pratfalls that go through, like, when they go to the cemetery to find the jackal that's in, then they find his son's body.
And that music sets in.
Yeah, and the dogs come in. I mean, it's really evil. And all of the kills, like when you saw them in the picture, they actually happened. Very satanic movie. Very,
It actually won an Oscar for Best Music and Original Score.
I remember the song Avi Satani.
Which is great.
Demons! So heavy. Yeah, definitely. The Omen.
The Omen. All right, and now we go to your number 3, the original.
The original Frankenstein. And to me, nothing beats the original Universal movies, any of them. And
1931.
That's right, in 1931.
Black and white.
And remember, before the movie opens up, the guy comes out and tells you about the movie. He kind of gives you a disclaimer and said, and he even says, well, we've warned you. And then the movie opens up. Still scary to this day. The makeup from Jack Pierce that he did on Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, was absolutely, stellar. It was just so creepy, ahead of its time. You would think that a human head could look like that, but it had to be constructed that way.
And it was a compassionate story thrown in there too, because you just didn't, you felt for Frankenstein,
Sure.
and you felt a little empathy towards him in that movie, right?
Yeah, and Fritz, who got the wrong brain. Remember, Fritz brings back the wrong brain, and that's basically what. If he would have had the other brain,
And
he might have been
taken
better.
from the Mary Shelley novel. Right. So it was taken from that. And the director also did The Invisible Man and The bride of Frankenstein. How about that?
Did not know that well.
That's good, though,
Gotta know those
from
facts.
1931. That's a classic that still to this day.
Still to this day, I can watch it over again. And that goes to our next one, Dracula.
Number 2.
The original.
Again
Dracula.
In 1931.
Bang, bang, bang. The two of the best
Boris
horror
Karloff
movies.
was in the last one.
Yep.
And this one has
Bela
Bela Lugosi.
And, just, to me, very scary when they're in the... when they're in the castle and Renfield comes in there for the first time before he's done anything to him. And you see the long staircase that Bela Lugosi comes down. That's kind of like coming down into the vault. That's kind of like how the spiders all set up. That's kind of what it looks like. Very creepy, very just his mannerisms and everything about that movie is just very, very, very creepy. It made me
And the way he
fall in love
talks.
with- yes, just why
slow and so
so
chevalier.
So yeah, so
like
so
a count.
so suave. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
the-
So
And the eyes, right?
Yes,
The
definitely.
eyes are a big part of it.
Definitely. The eyes were almost all of it, and the best scenes is when his eyes are going crazy.
Yeah, they really highlighted that point.
What's my number one, Walt?
All right, we know what it is. People are running out of the movie theaters in 1973.
That's right. The Exorcist. Amazing. Everything in this movie, when it starts to get going, is just shocking. The story was absolutely amazing. Directed by William Friedkin.
Yes.
And starring Linda Blair and Ellen Burstyn,
Max von Sydow.
Max von Sydow, and Jason Miller. He played Father Karras. And I have seen this so many times that I could play the part, and it still is shocking to me every time. I think her dialogue is almost as shocking as some of the scenes in there with the cross, and then in the bed,
Yes.
and then her head, and then the one that's to me is when she's up like elevating, and then all of a sudden on her leg, this little tear just goes like that. It's just creepy. I think to this day, if you even
True possession.
if you even say the word exorcist, people are like, what, exorcist? I mean, to me, again, another movie that set a bar for so many other types of that, genre of movie, and we're still seeing them, with the, movies like The Conjuring and Annabelle and stuff like that, where there's the possession going on, and even in La Llorona, the same thing. You got the possessed.
This was an
person.
Oscar winner also for Best Screenplay and Best Sound in that year. And the novel and screenplay was also written by
William Peter Blatty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, William Peter Blatty wrote the book, and I read the book and I've seen the movie, and they didn't defer too far from it. They were pretty close. He stayed pretty true to this.
Also, you have to say that at the time, this was the scariest movie that there had been for
Just
fright.
shocking. And what
Shock.
you have a here it is, a 12-year-old girl is being possessed by a demon, and the things that she's doing and the things that are
she's
coming out of
saying.
her mouth are just completely shocking. I mean,
In 73, it's shocking. Today, it's not.
well, I mean, it is if you think about it, but in 73, it was really shocking. You know what I mean? We're talking, 46 years ago or something?
People can't get over the cross scene.
No, I still can't get over the cross scene. So
Yeah, the makeup also. You gotta
the
talk
makeup,
about,
it was come on, that's what sold me.
Yeah.
Was like just her face and her eye festering and pustling and breaking open, and then when they open up her pajama, and then all of a sudden it says "Help me"
and sores.
Yeah, well, the sores plus it just out
Yeah,
of like
yeah, I remember that.
It says "Help me," like she's inside and she needs. I love everything about this movie. There hasn't been another one like it, and nothing shocking, near as shocking as this, and that's what made my number one. We will probably do an episode,
one
of the 10 subgenres.
This only just touches it.
Yeah, but because I have
Yeah.
so many more. I mean, I'm a horror guy.
I think you named a lot of the classic, but there's other ones in there.
I mean,
there's sci-fi ones that we haven't
The
hit.
Thing.
Yeah, The Thing.
The Thing is that was a good one. I saw
love
you had a
that.
list that is so scary. One of the scariest movies I've ever seen is The Thing. So again, there is so many more to talk about. So anyway, leave me your comments. Tell me what you guys was your scariest movie that you've seen.
And which movie do you think should have been knocked out of Steve's top 10 and maybe one of yours put in? Just as a
Well,
thought.
again,
Yeah.
this is my
I
personal
get
view,
you. I
you know,
get
of
you.
how what I
But
thought
what you
was
think,
scary to
too.
me,
Yeah.
and what defines me as a horror guy and what I think, because if you look on my set, I have all my, I have all different types of people, I mean, from everybody, from Frankenstein to, and it changes constantly. If it's scary, I love it. So leave me your comments. Leave us your comments. Let us know what you think. And obviously subscribe to the channel because that helps us out. Wait, you got anything else on these horror movies, Walt?
I just got to meet Linda Blair once.
Did you? Talk about that.
I met her at Tower Records. She did a signing. I brought, at the time, a VHS and my Exorcist movie poster. She was really nice, and she was older at the time. Of course, she plays as a teenager in that movie,
Well,
right?
she's like 12 or 13 in the movie, I believe.
Well, I'm old too, but I met her and very nice and had a few things signed. Still have them.
There you go. See, and he's a collector. I can guarantee you he still has them. So you guys, again, leave me the comments. Tell me what your movies are, and we'll talk about them when we do viewer comments.
That's right.
But for myself and Mr. Walter Morgan, we will see all you guys in Zetro's Toxic Vault real soon.